Okay, inequalities in two triangles, and really this lesson is about the Hinge theorem. The Hinge theorem states that if two sides of one triangle are congruent to two sides of another triangle, so for instance here AH is congruent to AH of this triangle, and then BH is congruent to BH in this triangle, and the included angle of the first is larger than the included angle of the second. So here's my included angle here. That is larger. Included means it's between the two sides. And it's larger than this angle, so we'll call this one the smaller. Then the third side of the first triangle is longer than the third side of the second. So the larger angle is always opposite the longer side. Okay? So if we have two sides that are congruent of two separate triangles, and we have the included angle, different sizes, the one that has the larger included angle is opposite the longest side. It means that it will have the longest side as its third side, a longer side. And the converse just states that if you have two sides that are congruent and the third side of the first triangle is longer than the third side of the second, then the first triangle would have a larger angle. So in other words, if this triangle has a longer side, then it's going to have a larger angle. Okay, kind of a picture of the Hinge theorem. I got it right here. We have this kind of a more drawn out picture there. Okay, and it allows me, I'll go ahead and hit play here so you can see what happens. It's kind of a hinge. It's a rubber band that's attached to a side here. And as we take and rotate these two sides upon a hinge, as the angle gets bigger, and between those two sides, the side gets bigger. Okay, so the bigger the angle, the bigger the third side. That's really what the Hinge theorem is saying. Okay, and we call it a Hinge theorem because it's like it's rotating on the hinge there. Okay, so how do we use that? Well, if we look at a picture, say this picture right here, where angle DAC is greater than angle BAC. Okay, we're saying that this is the larger angle. Okay, and this is the smaller angle. All right, so which is longer, DC or BC? Well, first you'd have to be able to, we have to know that we have two sides that are congruent. So like this 3 is obviously congruent to this 3. But then using the reflexive property, I know that this side, AC, is congruent to itself. So we have two sides of one triangle congruent to two sides of another triangle. Two sides of DAC are congruent to two sides of BAC, which means the triangle that has the larger included angle, or in this case, this angle, would have the longer side. So in this case, DC is the longer side. Okay. Now if we use that same picture and we'll kind of switch it up, and I'll use a different color to show it. If angle D or side DC is smaller than BC, so now in this case, kind of erasing that. Okay. If side DC, so we're now saying this is a smaller side. Side DC is smaller than BC, so this is the longer side. I guess rather than saying smaller, probably using the terminology shorter. Okay. Which is larger, DAC, this angle here, or BAC, this angle here? Well, remember, the bigger angle is always going to be opposite the longer side. So in this case, BAC would be bigger or larger than DAC. Okay. And really, that's about it. Now, we'll apply the Hinge theorem in different ways on different types of application problems, but really what you need to do if you're struggling with any of those is make sure you're asking your teacher. All right, that's what I got for you, I think. Yep, good lucky.